Hi, everybody. Welcome to a brand new thing we have for you here at 3 News. This is 3 Things About the Browns. I'm Stephanie Haney here with the one and only Jim Donovan, voice of the Browns. Jim, thanks for being here.
Good to be with you, Stephanie.
This is something fun we're going to be doing every week after the Browns game. We're going to pick Jim's brain about what happened. Quick rapid-fire questions for him. All right, first up, you can't talk about that game without talking about Baker Mayfield. Comes out strong with that touchdown. A lot of fun things happen. That trick play with the laterals. Then he throws a rare interception. What do we think about Baker Mayfield's performance after that game, Jim?
I have to tell you, in the first half, I've never seen him better. I mean, he was right on target. He was in charge. They were super aggressive. They went for the 2 points. Everything was clicking. I think what happened, Stephanie, in the third quarter, they went out of rhythm because they didn't have the ball hardly at all. They had one series of plays, and it was short-lived because Nick Chubb fumbled. Kansas City had the ball the whole time. By the time he got back into the game, they made another good drive, and then I think things really unraveled. And they really did unravel. A little bit for him. He started to get some heat on him and himself. The pass rush started to get to him, and the crowd noise really became a big factor. He's having a tough time communicating. He was always cupping his ear holes in his helmet to try and get the call. The last throw was a bad throw. I mean, if he's really trying to throw it out of bounds, throw it out of bounds. I really think he was trying to throw it to Harrison Bryant.
Good point about that crowd noise, too. I remember all those signs, back when we were in the stadium. Shh, quiet, please. Baker's working. All right, there are a lot of things that we could point to when it comes to that 33-29 loss between the Browns and the Kansas City Chiefs, but one I want to ask you about specifically.
Okay.
Kendrick Wills Jr. If we don't lose him so early in that game, do the Browns win?
Boy, I have to tell you, Stephanie, Arrowhead Stadium is not his place. If you go back to last January in the playoff game, he went out with a high ankle sprain on the first play offensively for the Browns. He went out pretty early yesterday. I really think that Chris Hubbard did a good job at left tackle, passable. I didn't see any problems really in the pass defense and him protecting Baker Mayfield on that side. I think Jack Conklin had more of a tough handle on the other side. I think the running game was good. But yeah, you'd like to keep them together. And if he's out for a period of time, that is a problem.
All right, on the other side of the football, let's talk about losing Ronnie Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
Now, there was some back and forth there. He got a good shove in on the Kansas City coach, Greg Lewis. He did. But a lot of people saying maybe Lewis should have been evicted from the game, too. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's a strange situation. It was a bad situation. It was a bad situation for Ronnie Harrison to get into it. And I know his head coach and his defensive coaches are not happy with him right now because he really hurt the football team by getting involved. Post whistle, get out of there. That's the lesson. And don't be the second guy to make the hit. The second guy is the guy that always gets the flag called on him. But why it was so strange, initially the call was a penalty on the Kansas City sideline. And I get that. Then suddenly Andy Reid went ballistic and got into the ear of Bill Vinovich. Suddenly there's a conference, and Stephanie, when that happens, nothing good comes out of that. And sure enough, Harrison's kicked out of the game. It's a problem because he's such a good player. It's a problem because it was such a hot day there and they lose a defensive back. And it's a problem because Grant Delpit's not playing. So they were thin at safety after that.
All right, one more question for you, Jim, before we go. Hated to see this online. I really did. A lot of people saying after that loss, same old Browns, not being able to keep it together in the second half. But it was a fun game to watch. I liked what I saw. What do you think? Are we living up to the hype this year?
Yeah, I think so. I think, aside from the emotion of losing the lead in the game and having a big lead in the first half and a pretty good lead, 9-point lead with 10 minutes to go, that's not a bad spot to be sitting in. It's better than being 9 down with 10 minutes to go. I think you really have to take a step back and say, Kansas City is a very elite team. Arrowhead Stadium is one of the toughest places to play. We have not passed the test there twice. Let's get them again in January, get a third crack at them, and while we're doing it, let's play them here rather than there. I think we're going to be okay. I think it was a pretty good opening act. It did not have a good closing act. I think now the key thing is the next 2 games at home, Houston, Chicago, got to win them.
Got to win on you. That's right. You heard it. Okay, so we're optimistic a little bit about what's happening here. Thanks for being here, Jim. And that's all the time we have for this today. We'll be back next week after the next Brown game.